Hey guys, so today I am here at Ozarks Homesteading with my friend Chase Philpot, who I've known since he was probably a little bitty thing, and known his mom for very many years, and he grew up here in the Ozarks, and he has a new adventure coming that I know you guys all want to know about. This you are just going to be just as excited as I am about it. And he is going on his adventure to the biggest little farm in California. Now, I know a lot of people may have seen that, like on Netflix and Hulu, and it's been all over the place. And if you haven't, you need to watch it, because we'll talk about what that is. But you guys that know what that is, you're going to have to keep following us, because we're going to tell you how he's going out there and what he's going to be doing out there. And welcome, I'm glad to see you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. So that's right, I'll be working as an apprentice at the farm. It's only a 6-month program, but I'll be there March 28th through September 25th.
That's great. So, the good time all through the summer. And so tell us a little bit about yourself first. So he's going there to be an apprentice, which is super cool. I want that job too. And tell us how that came about. Like, well, first, what have you been doing that even made you want to do this?
So I grew up just outside Webb City, a little bit rural, and my parents had horses and did rodeo, but my grandfather had a small cattle operation, a little hobby farm. So I grew up around agriculture, and we grew a garden and that sort of thing, but it was all very conventional. Each year we were like seeding the pasture and how much fertilizer to put down, and always concerned about getting enough hay to last through the winter.
Just like everybody.
Yeah, it was a very, very typical thing, and for a career, it didn't really interest me much, but I went into engineering and went to the University of Arkansas, got a degree, and ended up working in Houston, Texas for 5 years and Little Rock, Arkansas for 2. But while I was in Texas, I had a friend introduce me to a YouTube channel. I was a farmer in North Dakota. His name's Gabe Brown, and he was...
We know Gabe Brown.
He was doing things quite a bit differently and really reducing his cost of production by using cover crops that could fix nitrogen into the soil instead of having to apply nitrogen fertilizer, and better yet, to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, he was planting things that his cattle could graze, and thus decreasing the amount of hay he had to feed. And that hooked me, because I the light went off. I said, I can help my dad with this.
And that was a new concept to you, right?
Oh, it was brand, and I was like, that just makes good sense, and he needs to stop fighting nature and try to work with it and even harness it, some of that benefit that's there. So so that became I guess a hobby and study of mine, and I was still working my engineering job, and I was like, I'm gonna save up, I'm gonna buy a chunk of land, and I'm gonna start my own operation someday. And then in 2020, like everyone else, it was a big shakeup year. The company announced that they were closing the plant in Little Rock, Arkansas, and that my job would cease to exist. So I was then faced with the question, do I find another engineering job, or do I make a break for it and try to pursue this agriculture career? And a few key pieces fell into place, and
you were on an airplane.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me, I love that story.
So, yeah, the way I'd even heard about Apricot Lane Farms, I was on a plane. The company was sending me over to Italy to teach the facility there how to build the valves that we made in Little Rock, and this was in 2019, so before I even knew the plant was closing. But I decided to try to make good use of my time, and I'll watch something educational, a documentary, and I saw this incredible piece of cinematography. It's if you watch it, do it on the best high def screen you've got, because it is
buy the HD one if you're gonna rent it.
It is superb. And the screenplay aside, the storyline and the level of execution that they've achieved on this farm, it brought in everything I'd been learning about from Gabe, from other regenerative agriculture leaders in the field, such as Greg Judy, Ray Archuleta, they were nailing it all: the diversity of species, the rotation of the animals, the use of cover crops, the management of water, and the return on that of getting good water infiltration, and then the payoff was the better nutrient dense food, and extra bonus for that, it's that it's more flavorful as well. And
bringing up a chair here.
So I saw that, and then my friends were lucky that they're on the plane. They were all spaced out away from me because it was 3 a.m. and I wanted to go wake them all up. But immediately after that, I watched another documentary it was called A Healthy Diet for a Healthy Brain, and it really expanded on how what we eat directly impacts how our brains and behaviors are hardwired, and essentially good nutrition is foundational to it all. So yeah, it was a true epiphany on a plane of this is what I need to do. And the Italians didn't know what I was talking about, but I sure was trying to tell
You were a little distracted on your trip, right?
Yeah, oh, I sure was. I was still trying to tell these people in Italy about this, and yeah, they thought I was nuts. But when I got back and then the things unfolded that the plant was closing, I had quite a bit of resolve that this is what I need to do. So
then you watched the movie over and over and over a few times, right?
Well, because when I got back to the States, I had several friends, and I think I've seen it 7 more times now since that flight. And each group, I'm like, or when I go to visit people, I tell them, hey, you've got to watch this. Like, just humor me and watch this with me.
I know.
And
I send it to everybody.
Yep. So, and really at that point, I was just a fan of theirs. But then in September, they posted on their Instagram page that they would be hosting apprentices in 2021, and here's the link to apply. And with the knowledge that my plant was closing and faced with a choice for making a career jump, I said, why not? Let's go. So I applied, and it was a pretty lengthy process, several video interviews and lots of references to call and that sort of thing. But lucky me, I made it through.
So how many apprentices got hired for this?
There are 4 of us.
4. So out of I wonder how many. Do you know how many people applied?
The initial pool, at least at the point they were making phone calls, was 80. So that's what they told one of my friends who was a reference. So they narrowed it down to 4 of us out of that, and so it's 2 boys, 2 girls, and we'll be living in a duplex house on the farm. And it's almost like a college course curriculum. We have our schedule laid out every morning. From 6:30 to 9:30 is poultry. Then you have the next block from 9:30 to 10:30 is compost, and these will rotate out week to week as we go. But
what a good gig for them. They get these guys in here, these people that just are passionate and they want to help, and you get to help them do work.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But then you learn. It's a win-win, isn't it?
Yes.
For them.
I have had some calls with a farm mentor. They said be wary of internship, apprenticeship programs, because that sometimes can equal free labor. And with this,
kind of, but still, it's not. When you're learning, that's not free.
Right. With this, I'm actually, they're offering to pay as well. So it's a paid apprenticeship.
Apprenticeship.
So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So tell everybody where that's at exactly.
It will be in Moore Park, California, about 1 hour north of Los Angeles, and that's their head of farm operations. During the interview, he said, look, I need to take a time out here and make sure you understand this is no picnic. This is a working farm, and it is going to be a rigorous schedule. It'll be 6 days a week. We get Saturdays off only. And he said we've had some people here show up in the years prior expecting to be woken up by a rooster crowing each morning and sit on the porch and sip
their coffee all morning,
while they
enjoy the scenery,
watch the sunrise. and he said, I need you to grasp that this is going to be work. And I said, I fully understand.
And so tell everybody a little bit about what this farm is, people that don't know. So, it's a diverse farm, but how many acres, and tell us a little bit about Chester and Molly.
Sure. So their background was that the farm is owned by John and Molly Chester, and John was a cameraman doing documentaries for everything from National Geographic to pet hoarders and that sort of thing, and Molly was a personal chef, and Molly discovered that the food tastes better when it has higher nutrient concentrations in it, and higher nutrient density comes from how it's farmed. So if it's raised in a way that contributes to healthy soil, you get healthier food and better tasting food. So they were on a quest to get all the healthiest ingredients they could, and they couldn't find anyone that did really great eggs. So they then decided, we're going to get a little chunk of land, and their plan to do that ended up crossing paths with their investor, and it snowballed into a 214-acre bankrupt lemon and avocado farm, which, if you watch the film, you may question, why is there fences and barns on an avocado farm? But it's because it used to be a horse ranch, and so a horse breeding facility. But that also had gone bankrupt, and so as you'll see in the film, their soils are depleted, the irrigation system's busted, so much to fix, and they actually call in a traditional and holistic farms consultant, and he is their mentor and gets them set up on the right track for how to cooperate with nature instead of fight it. And they build a very diverse system. I think they've taken it even further since the film, but in that movie they have 75 different varieties of stone fruit, so apricots, plums, peaches, cherries, and they also have citrus. I've seen now that they're harvesting 10 different varieties of citrus, mandarins and tangerines, oranges, grapefruits, lemons, limes, and they still have the avocado trees, and even with those they have different varieties, because over the past 100 years or so, as our economy and industry developed, it was geared toward what produce can ship well.
Right.
And so the Haas avocado is very common, but they have a dozen different varieties of avocados there because they're selling direct to a farmer's market that's quick, and it doesn't matter if it can't last long in shipping.
Right. So that's another concept that they understand too, is that your local food also has your local nutrients in it, and is you buy your food local and not from 2,000 miles away, you're going to get more nutrients out of your food. So right. They understand that concept. But the movie talks. It's you'll laugh, you'll cry, during the movie, because it's just really a wonderful. If you're squeamish, don't watch it. Because it's very real. It's very realistic about the just the challenges that happen on a farm with just the day-to-day raising livestock and animals and weather and predators and and all that. So they do a really good job of filming that. And again, the cinematography is just a creation in there. They just show creation. It's just pretty awesome. But anyway, so how excited are you to do this? Were you just like blown away that they even picked you? How what'd you think? How did they contact you?
It was by email, actually. It was so.
Good thing you check your emails, right?
Sure, yeah. So the process was supposed to be 2 online interview, like Zoom call interviews, and then a on-farm trial period of 5 days. Oh. And so I was still waiting to hear about that. And in the prior Zoom call, they'd said that's on the fence with COVID. We may not be doing that. And so I get this email and it just says, congratulations, you've been selected. We're excited to meet you and wait for more information to come soon. And I was just like, so
Who did you call?
My parents and my friends in Little Rock, they're all backing me on this, because some of them were great encouragement there. They said, like, go do this.
That's international.
And so they're I can't thank them enough. My friends and family, they've really said, you're eaten up by this, you got to go do this. So and they spoke some good logic. They said, and if it doesn't pan out, you can circle back and get into engineering again. So
sure, nice to have that.
Yeah,
backup, right?
yeah, it's a good safety net. But yeah, so I took a screenshot of that and sent that out to all my friends, and even my dad's extended family that's spread across from New Orleans up to Iowa, and they are all squealing on the phone call. And
so now they know a little bit about that too.
Yeah.
See, they're gonna do their homework too now, right? So you've kind of got a movement going within your family, right?
I guess a little bit. So yeah.
And so so then when did you find out that you are like chosen, the finalists?
So that was that was probably November or early December of last year, and yeah, I was in a hotel room in Louisiana because I'd been sent to Louisiana to teach another plant about how to build our valves, and so I was working there, and I honestly didn't believe it at first. I said, wait a minute, like...
It's a spam.
Yeah, I replied to their HR coordinator, and I said, what about the on-farm trial? And is that canceled now? And she said, yep, because of COVID, it's canceled. And so there were a few selections that we were sure enough about that we were ready to move on with. So congratulations, you're in. And yeah, I was floored. So
that's great.
Yeah, we're actually... the four of us, there's the guy's Alex, and he's from Lenexa, Kansas.
Oh, good.
So not too far.
Yeah.
And then there is Emily. She's from North Carolina, but now lives in LA. And then Bella. She's from the DC area. And so yeah, it's
so
four
you guys
very
have connected already?
Yes, yeah, they introduced us, and so we've just chatted a little bit, but we're supposed to have a big group Zoom call on March 11th. So yeah.
So, and you're heading out tomorrow or
Tuesday.
You're heading out Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday the 2nd.
So what we'd like to do is, when you get there, don't forget about us. What we'd like to do is maybe Zoom with you once, maybe a month. You'll be there 6 months, and you can kind of give us an update about, how it's been and how you'll be wore out by then, or what do you expect to learn there? I mean, what do you really want to take away from that? I mean,
I think there's so much that is really, the devil's always in the details. Things that I've been pondering, and if you've got a list of questions that you'd like me to ask, because I've been keeping one, like, okay, I understand how to raise chickens and harvest the eggs and that sort of thing, but how do you tell? They have 750 layers. This is their egg operation. How do you tell when the chicken is too old and needs to be removed, and what happens to the chicken then? Like little nuts and bolts like that. And then the compost, they've described that, and the compost tea that they make it's really an art, like baking sourdough bread. It's a studied technique, and so that is pretty crucial to getting the right biology back in the soil. So that I would like to learn. Everything, and I've been taking night classes well through the University of Arkansas.
Soil amendment and regeneration is really is the thing that really gets you excited. And,
yes, yeah. The healthy soil is a foundation for it all. So without that, it's still going to be a failing system, in my opinion.
So what do you? So your interest there more is, I mean, you're going to be probably doing a little bit of everything there, I assume, right?
Yeah, everything from tending the farmers markets and harvest. So, so we'll have harvest. I do think I'll be there for what they call the season of wind. So that's the one thing I'm a little concerned about is wildfire season. So that's a new challenge.
Well, they had that, and I saw that they dealt with that before. So a little close for comfort sometimes too.
Sure.
But anyway, so that's what we'd like to do, and I'm going to tell you, I just think it's pretty awesome that you're getting to go. I'm very jealous. If I was your age, how old are you now?
I'm 31.
Okay, so if I was 31 and not married and just didn't have anything to keep me down here, I would tell everybody to do something like that. I mean, that's just, and it's just a season, so it's not like you're making a life decision that you're stuck there forever, or
Yeah, I really thought it was a golden opportunity to make a run at it.
It really is, and we're just so excited about it. You need to take lots of pictures, and if you get time, and keep notes. And we're thinking that we may even get some questions and to ask you, about as we go along, and we'll see if people want to do that. Just put questions in the comments, and we'll try to get them to Chase and see how. If he can get time to answer. He's going to be working 6 days a week, so we can get him to answer us and see how that goes. But anyway, I'm excited. You guys, it was on Netflix, but it's not on anymore. But it's on. You can catch The Biggest Little Farm on Hulu, on Amazon Prime. You can rent it. You can buy it too, but you can rent it on Amazon Prime, YouTube. You can find it just. And if you haven't watched it, then you really need to. You just really missed it when it was on Netflix. But it is pretty awesome, and I am so glad that Chase even took time out while he's trying to pack and get ready to leave to head there. He won't be there till what time? You're actually going to take a little road trip first,
I'm
right?
making
On
a
your
very
way, yes.
meandering road
it's
trip.
Not every day you get to drive all the way to LA.
So I'll be there on March 28th. So.
Okay, so after March 28th, and then so maybe the end of April or something, we'll get back with you and see how you're doing, and I'll keep in touch with your mom and see if she kind of fill us in. And anyway, so thank you.